on YouTube. Okay, we're also live on YouTube.
Oh, so is it hot over there now?
A little bit.
Hmm.
It feels like it's
Feels like what?
it's in the 80s, but it feels like it's in the 90s.
All right, excuse us just a minute, y'all. We're trying to get ourselves together. Oh.
Hello? You home, dude?
Okay.
Awesome. We were just about to crank up the broadcast here, and just wanted to make sure that we got to catch you and make sure you were okay.
Hold on just a minute,
Go,
guys.
man, go. Well, I would talk some more, but like I said, we're about to go on live, and we are live actually.
Yeah. Yes. We'll talk to you soon.
Say again, Sharon.
I just said we'll talk to you soon.
We'll talk to you soon, dude. Love you. Bye.
Okay. Yes, I had every intention of doing something for each of the 5 days on the year, but when you've got company over and they have a box full of anime that they want to watch, and we're trying to figure out what everybody's doing for dinner and everything like that, it didn't happen until tonight. So finally we're here, and so we have 4 out of the 5 candles, and hopefully tomorrow we can get on and we can do something for the birth of Nephthys, which will be the last day before New Year's, and we'll have 5 candles.
Is that when I get my present, or do I get that on like New Year's?
Well, I need to order something for you.
Okay,
So
'cause I gave you yours.
yeah, I know. Yes. Darren was sweet enough to give me an Egyptian New Year's gift, which actually was some more lighting. So I get to play with that later. But I've got some things bookmarked online for you. I just need to be able to go and order them.
Yeah. By
So-
the way, guys, our birthday is at the end of the month, and I would love some help. I can do 1 gift, but not 2.
Well, we need to give people an avenue to be able to talk with you about that. So if you've got an option for that, let people know.
Now
But
they can just PayPal you some
okay.
love, and we'll pick you something out.
Okay. Oh, we got some folks from the UK. Yay. Hi Marie, and wait, I need to take my pen. Well, guys, don't feel too bad. When it comes to being like ritually prepared and everything, don't stress yourselves out over it too much. And I mean, I've in order to do this, I've been having like a raging headache today, and I think it's just a holdover from having to entertain people all week, and eating and drinking things I normally don't, and so it's just caught up with me. But I managed to pull myself together for service tonight, so don't feel too bad about oh my goodness, I haven't done anything, unless this is like something I'm doing this to get ready for bed or something like that. That's another thing. But
By the way, all of our folks in Europe that are having to deal with the rains, our thoughts and prayers and love are with you.
yeah. Well, thoughts and prayers and love all around, because there's heavy rain in Germany, there's drought and wildfires in California, there's and the American West, and
The Oregon one is gotten bigger.
oh, so that's where that big one is in
Yes,
Oregon.
it's in Oregon.
Oh,
Where is our Padawan going in 2 weeks? Oregon.
wow. Well, it's funny. I told him if he comes over on Sunday, then he should be prepared to be part of the service, because we're doing our shindig. Well, I have to figure out what the weather forecast is going to be like, because they're actually talking about rain. So I may have to time it based on when it's going to rain or not rain. Which is something the ancient Egyptians didn't really have to worry about very much.
So
But
everyone, just get yourself a pile of snacks, You know, it's up and just be parked in front of your computer in case the call comes.
Well, I think most people are going to be watching on their phone, so and if we're doing this outside, I'm going to be broadcasting from my phone as well, so that's going to be interesting. But we will figure this out. I'll try to post as soon ahead of time, as I know something, so that nobody's like, oh my god, I missed it,
Be ready. So. Prayer positions.
Okay, Darren. Yeah. Oh, and from Chicago. So this is cool. We're going from the UK all the way to Tennessee to Chicago.
Cool.
Probably going to have all our time zones represented. So, okay, let me go ahead and get this. I think our format is going to be a little bit different tonight because we're doing the days on the year. So, some of the things that we normally do, we won't do this time. But I went and I looked up a couple of things like spells for protection for the new year. And one of them I happen to have, a supply for. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But we'll get ourselves started. And trying to make sure I don't jostle anything, but try to let this water sit at room temperature for a while so it wouldn't be quite so cold. These cool waters upon my hands. They purify me as Tefnut purifies me. Hail unto you, naturally. We come unto you without falsehood and without evil. It's still cold. It's okay. Hey! Our purity is upon our hands. Purity is within our hearts, and we cast out all evil that pertains to us. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure. We are pure.
She reloaded.
Just a little bit.
When she reloaded, she cheated.
Yeah, I just got a little bit of extra water and. On the leopard stone.
Well, what if it's a worm?
It's not. I mean,
okay. Are you a warm leopard? He says no.
It's okay. Okay. Actually, I need to make sure my hands are completely dry in order to handle the candles because the labels that I print for them come off of an inkjet, and so they're not waterproof. Which, usually it's not a big issue, but if you've been flinging water at people.
Like you have.
And you too.
And reloading. Well, I'm not handling candles. It's not my problem.
Anyway. Okay. Oh! Hi, Soda. Okay. Well, you just joined us after Darren and I flicked water on each other for our ritual illustration.
Yes.
And okay. Okay, Marie says it's like close to 3:00 in the morning in the UK right now, and she's already up having tea and watching the first Friday the 13th.
From 1981.
Oh, if so, then Person After Your Own Heart.
Not the remake, the 81 original.
Yeah, but let's see. I was just stopping to check and see, what we have, in the comments. And yeah, because we're lighting these candles instead of the usual single one for, an Eye of Horus.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe it would make sense to do that one and then we light the other ones.
I would.
So let me step over here. I'm going to keep a supply of 2 lights. And we'll start with this one. Come in peace, bright eye of Horus. Come in peace. Receive the light. The eye of Horus shines like Ra in the twin horizons, and evil hides in fear of it. Receive the light. The eye of Horus destroys the enemies of Ra and all of their abodes, till none remain. Receive the light. The eye of Horus comes to the 4 corners of the world, all the places where people are watching. And we are purified with it. Receive the light.
Receive the light.
Oh, congrats on getting your first shot. Because I saw where you posted that.
Thank you.
Okay. Tell you what, let me go from here. Alrighty. Great in need of the gods who are in you new. Ra in your appearance at the first time. Ra's twins, Shu and Tefnut. Geb and Nut, Lord of Earth and Lady of Heaven. Osir, Iset, Set and Nebethat. Turn your faces toward us. Behold what is in our innermost. Our hearts are straight. Our hearts are open. No darkness is in our hearts. Okay. There we go. Come in peace. Light. Osiris, Kintium into you. Come in peace. Horus, Lord of Vehdet. Come in peace. Set, Lord of Ombos. And come in peace. Iset, Great of Magic. Let's see. Okay, yeah. We will. Tell you what, let me go ahead and, as I'm doing this again, I'm switching back and forth between a couple of different books here. And eventually I will combine them all, but hail and praise unto you, O Ra, and hail and praise unto you, you Nutcher, you lords and ladies of the days upon the year, lords of love and lords of life. Grant us life, well-being, and health. May our eyes perceive your goodness and our hearts receive your wisdom. May you shine upon us as you traverse the sky, that we may bring to you Ma'at and cast out his fet. And may you guard us from the evil one through the dark hours of the night, your protection being before us and your strength being within us. Where is it? Here we go. Take these, your cool waters that are the inundation, that they may cool your hearts. Ayanachiru. These waters are the eye of Horus, that your hearts may be refreshed. And because we're celebrating the birth of Isis, things like milk and honey cakes were given as offerings to her, because, milk, because she's a mother goddess, it's very symbolic. But the honey cakes, apparently, that was something that women who had just given birth would eat cakes like that, to recuperate their strength. And so it was offered to mother goddesses, as kind of this is what we do here. This is for you, And so I've got some. I was specifically looking for there's some particular types of Middle Eastern cookies that I try to find, but since they didn't have those, I had date cookies. And what's funny, there's even a in Muslim lore, Mary ate dates after she gave birth to Jesus. So it's kind of a parallel, and so, given that date cookies,
Sure, why not?
yeah, it seemed to make sense. So if you happen to be where you can find something like that, they're very tasty for one thing. Dates are like very sweet, but they also make an excellent offering. So, milk, may you taste it in your shrine. May your hearts be refreshed with it. We bring you this milk from the great flood, Ayanachiru, that you may be purified with it. We give you incense. We give you incense, great purity. Its fragrance is the eye of Horus. Its fragrance comes to you. It cleanses you. It adorns you. It takes its place upon your hands. Ayanachiru, we give to you this eye of Horus, and its fragrance comes to you. Take this, your bread on which gods live. This bread is the eye of Horus, Ayanachiru. Lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. Oh, and I also have to include, Darren asked that I share these. Now it's fun. You're going, okay, it's a bag of potato chips, right? Well, they're not just any potato chips. I went to the Middle Eastern grocery today to see if I could get some cool stuff to offer. And I got these for Darren because he likes spicy things. What I didn't see until I had taken them home is on the back of it, it says Egypt Foods Group. So this bag of potato chips that are sweet chili flavored is actually from Egypt. So, what a surprise! So we'll find out what their taste in potato chips is like.
I'm a good boy. I share my snacks.
Yes. So lift it to your faces and be at peace with it. And all the sweet chili goodness. So. The gardens prosper and Hapi rejoices, overflowing with his meal. We fill the eye of Horus for you with wine, O Ra, Ayanachiru. Drink and be pure. The doors of heaven and the doors of earth are open with libations for you within this house. May your faces be refreshed with your libations, your wine, and your water. Pure is Ra Haraketi within his house. Pure is Osiris within his house. Horus the elder within his house. Set within his house. And Isis within her house. pure are the cause of all of these gods, with this good myrrh that is given. Jehuti proclaims it. It is written in his house of sacred words. Hapi gives in abundance, thousands of offerings, all things good and pure, for Ra-Horeketi, for Osiris, for Horur, for Sutek, for Aset, in every place that their mortal cause dwell. And I swear that smoke detector likes to wait until I'm in service because it doesn't go off at any other point. I'm going to find that thing and I'm going to kill it.
They say every time a smoke detector chirps, an angel gets its wings.
Okay.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yeah, that's our story and we're sticking to it. Okay. Come to your body, O Ra-Horeketi. Come to your bodies, O Osir, O Horur, O Sutek, O Aset. Come to your invocation. Come into us, your servants, who are mindful of your feasts and your offerings. Bring your power, your hika, your honor, and your ba to these your offerings, and partake of them. Come, O people, raise these offerings before the faces of these gods. Lift these offerings before Ra, before Osiris, before Horus, before Set, before Isis. All life comes from them, all health comes from them, all stability comes from them, all good fortune comes from them, as it has since the first time. Yes, and there was a discussion on the Facebook group a week or two ago about well, which name do you use for deities, the Greek one or the Egyptian one? And I will switch back and forth because the Greek form is more widely known, and the gods know who's addressing them.
Right.
Yes.
Also, when it comes to the Greek rendering, we know exactly how to say it.
Yeah. So, see, I think that gives some clues as to how the ancient form was pronounced.
Me too.
But yeah, either way, they know. And it's kind of like there was a game that if you ever take an acting class, there's a game that they play. It's called J'accuse, and it's just in short, basically your eyes are closed and somebody points at you and says J'accuse, and you know when it's you because you can feel the energy of that person like pointing, and sending it to you. So, the gods know when somebody's directing energy to them. So. Go ahead and give our offerings for the blessed dead. And there we go. Make sure I have water. Oh, that's weird. I have two. Okay, good. So we will light our candle for our blessed dead. Because certainly at the new year we remember them. Share with them cool waters from the table of Osiris, that their hearts may be refreshed. And I want to say it was around this time of year when Dr. DeLynn passed. So we definitely want to include him as well. Orikeru ta henket kakao abdu senator Akut Nibet Nofret Wabet Ankhet Nacharim and Cow and Akupunibu Maachirunibu Hirunachara. A voice offering of bread, beer, 1,000 of beef and fowl, incense, oils, and all good and pure things on which God lives, for the cause of all of these Aku, all true of voice before the great God. And because it is the days on the year, another of the things that we do is we say prayers to Sekhmet, because this is the time of year when, her messengers would be out and about. So we ask her to keep them on a leash and not let her messengers give us any trouble. And also for a lot of spells were against the plague of the year, which until last year was kind of an abstract concept, I must admit. It's like, oh, gee, yeah, people must have gotten sick a lot more back then. Well, funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. And let's see, where is it? Just one. No, that's the one. All right. There's actually a spell here for warding off the breath of the plague of the year. And what's interesting is, of course, Egyptian spells, they oftentimes they put the directions at the very end of it. But it would say words to be spoken over a pair of vulture feathers. And then you stroke somebody with them. Well, this is a Native American style fan, but the big black feathers on here are vulture feathers. And these were humanely harvested. There was actually a mated pair of vultures that lived on top of the bank building where Darren was working at one point. And yes, yeah, and the folks that worked in the bank building had named them Sweetie and Tweety. And Sweetie and Tweety would shed feathers every now and then. And so I got these big, beautiful black vulture feathers. So I use fans like this for smudging. So we will read our spell. O flame in his face, which is Ra, foremost of the Akhet, say to the foremost of the house of the birth attendants, make Osiris, foremost of the earth, to flourish. O Nekebet, who lifted earth up to the sky for her father, come, that you may tie the twin plumes closely around me, that I may live and be sound. For to me belongs the great white crown on the head of the great one in Unu, its second being Aset, and its third being Nebethat. I am under the authority of he who takes hold of the Uraeus. O son of Sekhmet, power of powers, son of Akaitiu demon, raging one, son of Hathor, mistress of the stream who makes the river rise. May you fare upon noon, may you travel in the Manjet bark, once you have saved me from any vexation of the year in the form of a breeze of any evil breath. O Horus, sprout of Sekhmet, place yourself behind my body that I may be kept whole for life. So if you remember the YouTube video we did where we talked about the different kinds of demons, and that typically the son of an eye goddess like Sekhmet, or Neat, had the power to control those demons. That's what they're invoking in that spell. So since we have some myrrh incense still burning, and we'll bring it over to the camera. And there we go. If you're watching, we are smudging you with vulture feathers. So may the protection of the year be upon you.
And upon our officiant.
Thank you. Yes, and our thanks to Sweetie and Tweety for sharing their feathers. And if you're inclined for those sorts of things, there's another one, and I'll read it. Yeah, here we go. For warding off the breath of vexation of the Kaityu demons, the emissaries, and another class of demons, Nigestiu, all under the purview of Sekhmet. It says, retreat, Kaityu. No breeze shall reach me to let Sao demons rage against my face, for I am Horus, who passes by the Shemayu wanderers of Sekhmet. Horus, the sprout of Sekhmet. I am the unique one, the son of Bastet, and I shall not die on account of you. Now, this is to be spoken with a club of what they call desk wood. And you go and you walk outside of your house and make a circle of it with this wood. The closest thing I can think of, because the particular book I got this out of didn't have a translation for desk wood, but in my herbal there was something kind of similar sounding that was for myrtle. Not crepe myrtle for those of us here in America, because you look for it online and it seems like that's all you can find is freaking crepe myrtle. That's not true myrtle. True myrtle is native to Europe, the Mediterranean. You can find it. It's an ornamental, but so use, and it's also used in certain Jewish observances. The lulav at Sukkot uses a myrtle branch. So if you're so inclined and you want to find that, you do that and circumambulate your house, and you can create a magical protection with it. So we'll read more. And the Shemayu, the wanderers of Sekhmet, may have actually been certain stars. So they had just like we have astrology and things like Mercury retrograde. Well, when certain stars were in a certain part of the sky, that's when they were the wanderers of Sekhmet. So there we go. Hail, Sekhmet, who presides over the land, lady of flourishing, generous one, Sekhmet, who protects the two lands. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the first arrow of famine. Hail, Sekhmet, O Kurl, O hidden lady, Wajit the Great. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the second arrow of drought. Hail, Sekhmet, who moves in light, who terrifies the gods with her massacre. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the third arrow of war. Hail, Sekhmet, who guides mankind, lady of the dual shores, mistress of humanity. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the fourth arrow of terror. Hail, Sekhmet, great shining one, foremost in the mansion of flame, who terrorizes the two lands with fear. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the fifth arrow of storms. Hail, Sekhmet, who loves Ma'at and hates Isfet, lady of the people. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the sixth arrow of oppression. Hail, Sekhmet, Uraeus, who opens the acacia, great and sovereign one. Come to us who are under your sway. Save us, protect us, and preserve us from the seventh arrow of disease. Yes, and of course in our prayer request tonight, we're for an end to finally be brought to this pandemic. Of course.
And all variants of it.
Yes, and all variants of it. And may people be able to find happiness and peace again. We have folks that are looking for work, and Seta, I know you're looking forward to a big sales event. So we want to give you some good mojo, and I guess for us to get healing and feeling back to normal.
It's for my mom.
Yeah, because your mom is sick.
My mom is undergoing a second batch of tests for cancer.
Mm. Yes. Yeah, may it be benign.
Yes.
Mm. And I'm gonna step. Oh yeah, and one other thing, I wanted to make sure I, because I got the YouTube camera, but I needed to make sure I get you guys with. There you go. I'm getting you with the vulture feathers. So
Good for you.
okay. Yes, I.
Thank you.
They were my vultures too.
Yeah. Well, you got to watch their fledgling.
Fall flat on his face against my office window.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah. Darren was had an office with a window, and their fledgling was learning to fly and smacked into the window.
It slid down at Looney Tunes style. It was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. But yeah, so we have a special place in our heart for them. And so I'm just gonna look.
Like a Looney Tunes setup.
Yeah, it was. It looked like something right out of Looney Tunes.
It did.
Just from what you were saying. I didn't get to see it, but you
I
got
did.
to.
It was amazing.
Okay. Yes. All right. So we got some. Okay. Yeah. And so Segment Hotep here is saying that in 1986, they got to ask an Egyptologist at the Oriental Institute when the ancient Egyptian New Year was, and he said August 1st. Yeah. Well, actually, if you get Bob Breyer's book on Egyptian magic, that's also when he gives it as August 1st. And yeah, that might be what they were kind of thinking of, that and the fact that Sirius rises before sunrise at different points depending on where you are on the globe, and so we observe, the first group to actually start doing something in the modern day and observing Egyptian New Year's was the Church of the Eternal Source, and they did it on July 18th. And a lot of books, if you read, that talk about, well, when was the Egyptian New Year historically, they say the 18th or 19th. And so, it becomes a very complicated question, because it's, okay, are you going with something historical? Are you going by when does it come up at this point? Because it comes up over Egypt now, like July 25th is when Sirius becomes visible over the horizon. We do a parrot subduct, for that day. But to try and have something that's a point of reference everybody could use, we said, well, let's just make it, the historical day. So that's why, I observed this one, ours is earlier than anybody else pretty much that does the Kemetic thing. But, it's kind of like the difference between Orthodox Christmas versus, what?
Epiphany, yeah.
Or when Christmas is for, the rest of Christendom.
Right.
You did, however, mention the emergence of Sopdet.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, that's, let's see, the 25th is on a Sunday. So basically, next Friday, we will be observing Parrot Sopdet, which is, it literally means the emergence of Sopdet. It's the same thing as New Year's if that's how you're doing it. And for like most people here in the U.S., and again, it comes down to time zones, because Chicago and we're all in Central Time Zone, so it's around technically the 3rd or the 5th, depending. So real close to what that Egyptologist was actually saying. But yeah, it would be the first if you were like, on Eastern Time Zone, or a little bit further. So yeah, that's why that's a very complicated question to answer, and I try to just simplify it so that you're not having to constantly recalculate from year to year.
especially folks in like Europe, you know.
Yeah. Our friends that are in Eastern Europe, and that are on the Facebook page, I think did they find an app or something or what? I don't remember. And one of them even was, intrepid enough to actually go out and watch for the rising of the stars. And if you're in an area where you've got good visibility and you can see that, that's great. But like here we have too many trees and light pollution to really be able to do it. So okay. And we also got a prayer request from Amanat for his grandmother to have a long life. And okay, and Big Des says now I can come to my whip run pet party, so I'm gonna make date pastries and eat them. Hey, sounds like a good idea. Let's see. All right, so divination request from Amanat and Sekhmet Hotep. And the question, would turkey feathers work? You know what? I'd say if you've got turkey feathers to substitute, say go right ahead.
Yep.
The idea is that they are the feathers of Kemetic, the goddess. As
long as they're really pretty feathers.
Well, I bet I know what they look like because I had some turkey feathers at one point, but they disintegrated. Unfortunately, they weren't stored as well as my other ones.
Nice thing about the turkey feathers is they're dappled, so they kind of tie in with Horus.
What amazes me is you got the turkey feathers off the turkeys you lived with.
No. This is somebody else had gotten turkey feathers, but and my turkey feathers. Actually, no. There's another story behind those. And actually, no, about that. No. They the Kemetic Orthodox celebrates their New Year's when Sirius comes up over the Chicago area. So theirs is typically around the 3rd or the 5th of August. And the reason why I know that is because a friend of mine who used to be with them would go to their retreat every year. And oftentimes that would, like there was a couple of years where BotCon was right before then. And that's actually where I met her because she went up to BotCon which was kind of close to that area. It was in Indiana. And then she went over, to Chicago for the retreat, and so I'm, pretty familiar with the time of year that it was. So, but yeah, that's how they do that stuff. And, like I said, mine is just, it's based on the historical, so, yeah. But, okay, so yeah, let's get to our divinations. And I noticed Big Dad had a theological question. Go ahead and share that, and we'll answer it as best we can. And we'll keep going. So, and by the way, I do have before we get to anybody else, I do have a cookie that I pulled specifically for this evening because it's the days on the year. I did I wasn't able to do much else, but I did pull cookies for the other days, and I've got them in my little book, so we'll see how it all comes together. So this is our cookie from Osset, and it says, "Love is the affinity which links and draws together the elements of the world." What was the Obi-Wan's line about it? It surrounds us and penetrates us and binds the galaxy together.
Yes.
Very, very similar to that, but here it's saying that it is love, and that's very appropriate from Isis. So, to put them together here, I'll share with you what the trend was, because the first one that I'd set it aside last week, and actually last Friday was a new moon. And so I opened it on the last day of the year, the day of Mosed, and it said, "Luck will visit you on the next new moon." which is interesting.
And when is that?
The next new moon is going to be, in early August. It's going to be, in a month. From one new moon to another is about a month. So then for the birth of Osiris, it said life is a play. It's not the length, but it's performance that counts. Then for the birth of Horus, keep in mind that home is where the heart is. For the birth of Set, never judge a work of art by its defects. And for the birth of Isis, love is the affinity which links and draws together the elements of the world. What strikes me about that is each one of those has something to do with their attributes. If you think about it, because Osiris's message is, life is, a play. It's not the length, but the performance that counts. And what is he? He's the one that you meet at the end of your life.
Right.
So,
to judge the performance.
Yeah. And Horus, keep in mind that home is where the heart is. I thought that was kind of interesting. And it seems somehow appropriate that Set would say, never judge a work of art by its defects.
Ah. You notice the theme here?
Huh.
Slow down and do it again.
Life is a play. It's not its length, but its performance that counts. Keep in mind that home is where the heart is. Never judge a work of art by its defects. Love is the affinity which links and draws together the elements of the world.
Okay. Love.
Home.
Character.
Mm-hmm.
Strengths, not weakness.
Yeah. Yeah, I figured there was a
love, character, personality.
Mm-hmm. Acceptance.
And deed.
Yeah.
Think about that. Love, character, personality, and deed.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things by which the heart is weighed.
Yeah.
You realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that, and that's the message for the days on the year.
Yeah, so far,
Wow.
Nephthys will have one more for us, but
yes, and then we have New Year's.
Yeah, but that's kind of something to frame the upcoming year.
Yeah,
and so it seems to me that this is talking about we're telling you what's really important and what you really need to focus on.
And you got to understand, it's giving you a message that most people never hear. And that is this. What goes on with the world, what happens in the world is not nearly as important as what you make happen for you. That message is about the power of the individual to change the world.
That's why I wanted to read that with you here, because you kind of have to take this and interpret it and put it together.
Because as I was listening to that, I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was also getting that if you think about it, like if what each of them are saying is a facet of your internal heart.
Yeah. Now, we still had a couple of requests, so let me go ahead and do those. So the first one was from Amannacht. So, wait a minute. Let's get that out of here. Got an empty one. All right. Amannacht, this one is for you. And it says, it takes guts to get out of the ruts. So
that's direct. And that's for you as a person. And I bet you know exactly what that means.
Yeah, so there you go. It takes guts to get out of the ruts. And Sekhmet Hotep had asked for one, so here we go. Yours says, Many admire your social and physical appearance. So if you ever find yourself doubting yourself, don't. That's their way of saying, you may have people that look up to you that you don't even realize, but they do. So sometimes we all need a reminder, of our good qualities. So
I'd like a divination
Alrighty.
to
Let's
see
see.
if there's any wisdom for tomorrow and Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll tell you, Big Dan had a question about soft polytheism. Is it okay in a Reconstructionist setting? Absolutely, because the Egyptians themselves, some of them were kind of soft polytheists. I think there was kind of a spectrum. You had some that were hard polytheists, but you had points where a lot of deities were being seen as aspects of one another. So yeah, there's room for that. And as for do you think the gods are omnipotent? I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. The people might find it extremely ironic, but there's a very good book, and it's actually written by a rabbi, and it's called "When Bad Things Happen to Good People." What's funny is as he describes his search to understand it, because he had a son born with a congenital disease that was fatal. And so he had to struggle to deal with that, knowing that his son was going to die eventually. And that became the basis of his book. And ironically, the answer that he came up with at the end, and his vision for, God and creation being an ongoing act, is not that far off from the Egyptian belief.
Imagine that.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. Well, it makes sense when you think about it. It's just, they're monotheists or polytheists, but otherwise, his conclusion was that, and they're I've talked to folks who are Christian who really disagreed with that. They read the book and disagreed with it, but I think he was onto something by saying, well, bad things happen, and it's because either God is not all loving and all forgiving, or he's not all powerful.
Well, I'd like to address that even from a Christian perspective.
Mm-hmm.
God gave away the omnipotence the moment he gave us free will.
Well, but also setting in motion the laws of the universe, and
Yes.
things which we would call part of Ma'at. Things like gravity.
Right.
Once that law has been established, that means that nobody can save you if you jump off a cliff, unless you have one of those squirrel glider suit things, But
And even then,
yeah,
you better hope the wind's in your favor.
yeah. But anyway, you get the point. Yeah. So yeah, that's personally, and those are some of those big questions that everyone's going to come up with their own answer for it, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But personally, I think it's because there some things that they can't stop, because to do so would be to undo their own work. Like undoing laws of gravity or the laws of nature. Things like how viruses work, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those are things that have already been set down and can't be changed. Or it involves people, and people have free will, and that can't be changed. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But let's see. So anyway, okay, celery asked for divination. Yes, you're still able to get one. Yeah.
Yes, celery, you're divine. I love you with cream cheese.
No. Celery's garden. And so she goes by celery for short. So, but no, if you get a chance to read the book, and some of the things about it, is it a test or what, he addresses all of that. So yeah, look for when bad things happen to good people. It's a fairly short book, fairly simple, but really profound.
It's really powerful.
Yeah. So let's see, divination for celery and okay. I see. I didn't see your. There's somebody else who I don't see your name, but you're asking are we still able to do divinations? Okay, and Sarana. So just tell me your name so I can have it kind of in my mind as I'm pulling your fortune. Oh, okay. And a friend's wedding was the weather was perfectly clear in between thunderstorms.
Yay.
So let's say a prayer that we can do the outdoor, ceremony, with the our union with the sun and all that, and be able to do that between thunderstorms, because they're talking about rain coming this weekend. So, okay, so celery. Celery, your fortune says, lucky you, get out your party clothes. So whatever it is, it's going to turn out good. Just keep positive. Something good's going to happen. And let's see, Sarana. I know Sarana was next. So, okay. Right. Okay, this one right here. And Sarana. Sarana, yours says, never be less than your dreams.
Wow, how powerful is that? Never
Yeah.
be less than your dreams.
Yeah, if you're being tempted right now to, take a shortcut or take the low road or something, don't. Never be less than your dreams. And Seth, I know you had requested one as well. Let's see. Okay. So Domina, you had one. Okay. Alrighty. So Domina, and then and Seta, I know you had asked for one as well. So let me go ahead and do you guys. And so I'm seeing somebody's got an icon here. It looks like a brain in rainbow colors, but it might be something else. And you're asking for divination. I just don't, like I said, it's not showing what your name is. So just tap in a quick comment and say, divination for, your name, so that way I can read it as I'm pulling it. But Domino needs one. So okay. 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 Domina, yours says, never confuse a single defeat with a final defeat. So don't be discouraged.
Just because you lost the battle doesn't mean you lost the war.
Right. Just keep persevering. You'll get there. Okay, and Seta, I know you had asked for one. Okay, this one is following me, so this one is yours. Okay. Seta. It's better to ask some questions than to know all the answers.
Huh.
Well, if you have to ask a like if you've got a supervisor or something, or somebody who's a potential customer asks you something, you know, don't be afraid to ask, and you could learn things in the meantime. That's the first thought that I get off of that. But just remember, it's better to ask questions than to know all the answers. And let me see. Okay, yeah. Somebody was asking about epithets of Aset. We can read some of that. So let me go ahead and I'll pull that, and I'm gonna have to wrap this up before too long. But let's see what we can do since we got a request for Assets. Because I should have. All right, this is actually a hymn to Isis that comes from Philae, which of course, is where her temple is. But it does have some things of hers in it. It's Isis the Great, Mother of the God, Lady of Philae, God's wife, God's adorer, God's hand, Mother of the God, Great Queen, adornment, Lady of ornaments of the shrine, Lady and desire of the green fields, nursling who fills the shrine with her beauty, fragrance of the shrine, mistress of joy, who runs her course in the sacred place. Rain cloud that greens the fields when she descends. Maiden, sweet of love, mistress of Upper and Lower Egypt, who issues orders among the Aeneid. Princess, great of praise, lady of charm, whose face loves the trickle of fresh myrrh. And another one. She is the one who pours out the inundation, which makes all people live and green plants grow, who provides sacred offerings for the gods and voice offerings for the Akh spirits. Because she is Lady of Heaven, her husband is Lord of Duat, and her son is Lord of the land. Her husband is the pure water, renewing himself at Biga at his time. She is Lady of Heaven, Earth, and Duat, having brought them into being through what her heart conceived and her hands created. She is the Ba which is in every city, watching over her son Horus and her brother Osiris. So, yes, and tomorrow I actually composed something for Nebuchadnezzar, for Nephthys, because there really isn't anything for her from the historical record. So I had to kind of, look for just, bits and references here and there, because she tends to be mentioned most often in conjunction with, Isis and Osiris. So I put something together, and it's on the back of her candle, and we'll read that tomorrow. So we'll try and do this, same time, 8:30, because that seems to work the best. And hopefully, because it'll be on a Saturday, some folks that can't normally tune in otherwise will be able to join us then. So here's hoping. But yeah, an offering dance that would be a cool thing to do too. I do know there are folks that have studied belly dancing, specifically so they could do that sort of thing. So yeah, if I missed anyone, just let me know, and in the meantime we'll work on wrapping this up, and we'll do same bat time, same bat channel tomorrow. So, hail unto you, Atum. Hail unto you, Khepri. You come into being upon the primeval hill. You shine forth upon the shrine of the phoenix in Yunu. You breathe out Shu and Tefnut. May the giving of these offerings endure, as the name of Atum, foremost of the great Aeneid, endures. May they endure as the name of Shu, Lord of Upper Menset in Yunu, endures. As the name of Tefnut, Mistress of Lower Menset in Yunu, endures.
as the name of Geb at the Earth's Ba endures, as the name of Newt in the shrine of Shanit in Yunu endures, as the name of Oser Kentiamentiu endures, as the name of Aset in Acheru endures, as the name of Sutek in Nubet endures, as the name of Horus in Pe endures, as the name of Jehuti in Kamenu endures, as the name of Ra in the Akhet endures likewise for eternity. You have come in peace, O Ra. You have come in peace, O Netcheru. May you go forth in peace, O Ra. May you go forth in peace, O Yenetcheru, to every place your immortal cause wish to be. May you sail in joy in the Menjet bark, and rest content in the Sektet bark, and may you smile upon us, your humble servants. And of course, if I missed anything, just let me know before I actually sign off for now. Oh, okay. Yeah, you wanted it. So I'm inactive. Can you read the fortune back? Yeah, you should be able to rewind the video. And let me see if, because I've got the. Okay, I do happen to have it here. Almanac. Yours says it takes guts to get out of the ruts. So, if you feel like you're stuck in a rut, just have courage and have faith. And yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you for bearing with us since we weren't able to start earlier in the week like we wanted to. But hopefully we can make a big weekend of it. So thank you guys.
Thank you too, Ty.
Yeah. And big hugs.
Big hugs. Take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye, Robert.
Talk to you soon. All right.
Soon.
Much love, guys. Thank you for joining us. Uh-oh. Okay. Alrighty.